From the Figure 4 Online Studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com, you're listening to The Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Bryan Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
It's the Bryan and Vinny and Grady and Craig show here. It is December 7, 2021. Figure4online.com /WrestlingObserver.com. That's a pretty catchy song, isn't it there, Granny?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Good.
Yeah, that's the Granny theme, I like to call it.
Okay.
What's going on, everybody?
Nothing. It's holidays. Everybody's busy.
I got another Undertaker book.
Yeah, I heard RD sent you another book. Is that what happened?
No, it wasn't RD.
You said the Bears.
The Bears. Oh, is that
That's him.
Oh, you're kidding. I didn't
No.
know that.
Well, you learn something new every day, don't you, Granny?
Now, is this a new copy of the same book?
No, she's got a new Undertaker
How
book.
many Undertaker books can there be?
I got 3 of them so far.
Goodness, all right.
Oh, thank you,
Well, it's the Undertaker, brother. How many do you think it's going to be?
Thank
He's
you,
a famous
thank
guy.
you.
How many Dolph Ziggler books do you think there are?
Well, probably less than the Undertaker
None?
books. Yeah.
Yeah, there'd be none.
Yeah.
By the way, Craig, did you watch Raw 3?
No.
I didn't think so.
Did you?
Yeah,
Did you?
you
Why?
did, right?
No.
4.
No, Craig, Raw 4.
Yeah,
That's
you-
what I meant.
I'm pretty sure we all watched Raw 4.
Yes, I watched Raw 4. I didn't think we were doing the other thing today.
Rampage?
Yes.
So, here's a little inside baseball on how this whole show puts together. It's 9:04 p.m. here, Seattle time, as we are recording this show. We got a text from Bryan at 7:35 p.m. Exactly 90 minutes ago, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, 89. Rampage and Raw 4 for tonight, right?
Yeah.
And I confirmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yesterday I asked, we're watching Raw 4, yes?
Well, that's why I was asking, Craig, because who did you send that text to? Because I didn't get that text. Did you get
You
that text,
and Vinny both.
It's right
You
here in the
did
group
too.
text, dude.
You got it?
BTW : Raw 4 tomorrow. Now, to be fair, it could be Raw 4, the number 4. Or you may have been asking Raw for tomorrow.
I see.
Either way.
So nobody answered Craig.
Nobody answers the question either way.
No.
So Craig watched Raw, but not Rampage.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Well, you'll just have to sit here for this Rampage review then, huh? Guess that's how it's going to be. What did you watch, Grant? Did you watch some wrestling?
Lots of it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got it all done yesterday, though,
Good.
so I could have today off for the girls.
The day off. She had the day off because she didn't have to watch any wrestling.
I relate.
Well, what do we have on the thing, Vinny?
On the thing here, Granny has written, "What's for questions this week? Question mark, question mark." And we've had that first one many times. Jacob Donnelly says, "Random question." Aren't they all? Do you remember in the 60s when McDonald's had a mascot named Speedy? I found that out yesterday and was baffled because I had no idea he existed.
I never heard of him.
Like Speedy Gonzalez or another Speedy?
Speedee.
I never heard of this in my life.
I haven't
makes,
either.
McDonald's makes you lethargic. Why would they have a mascot named Speed?
Well, because they serve it with speed.
I see.
And you may eat it with speed. Oh, it's just that. I've seen this picture before. I didn't know he had a name. If you,
Well, what does Speedy look like?
he's got a hamburger for a head and he's giving you a wink.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that seems a little bit creepy now, doesn't
I
it?
guess because you're about to eat his head.
Huh.
Well,
All right.
So to answer the question, Jacob, no, none of us remember in the 60s when McDonald's had a mascot named
Well, bro, I
Speedy.
wasn't even alive in the 60s.
Yeah.
Much less eating McDonald's.
But
I want to know more about this Speedy.
Granny was. All right. Let's see what I
Like,
can do
what
here.
is he? Is he a mascot? I mean, was
He's-
it
it's just-
long-lasting?
There's a McDonald's fandom.com wiki with an entry for Speedy, the first McDonald's mascot. God, this fucking thing loaded. Before Ronald McDonald was created and portrayed by Willard Scott. Holy cow. He was the first company logo before the use of the golden arches. Some older McDonald's stores still have a Speedy sign in front.
So are you telling me that this predates Ronald McDonald?
It does.
This Speedy? Wow.
Speedy was a man with a chef's hat on top of a hamburger-shaped head. So I correct myself. It's not a hamburger for a head. It's a normal head that's just shaped like a hamburger.
I see.
So he was a prototype of the Hamburglar. No.
No,
Mayor McCheese.
Mayor McCheese, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I know all about Mayor McCheese.
Yeah, there's nothing else on here about
Mayor
Speedy.
McCheese. Bad.
That's weird, because I used to take my kids a lot to McDonald's, and I don't remember any of that.
And perhaps this is an example of the Mandela effect. There was no Speedy in this current timeline. But whatever timeline that bloke's in, what's his name?
Jacob Donnelly.
Jacob's in the Speedy timeline, you see.
Joseph Callahan Augustus Daly II has a question that is shorter than his own name. Favorite holiday song?
The Monster Mash.
He did not specify which holiday.
Yeah, I mean,
true.
he didn't say Christmas.
No,
I
he said
mean,
holiday song.
Clearly the Monster Mash.
I can't really think. There's a lot of Christmas songs.
It's Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas with John Denver and Ralph the dog from the
Oh, good choice. Good choice.
Silent
John
Night.
Denver and Ralph the dog.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
My God.
John Denver, The Muppets is a great Christmas album. I'm going to go with Baby Please Come Home, the U2 version.
So we're now doing Christmas. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah, if you have, no, Brian, you can say Monster Mash.
I'm saying Monster Mash right here. If you want a Christmas song, it would be Johnny Cash singing, forget the name of the song, but it's a good one.
Oh, sure.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Seth Binderup.
So you know these songs, we don't know what they're actually called. You know what I mean? Sometimes you hear a song you've heard a million times, we actually don't know what the actual name of the song is, especially if it's a Christmas song.
That never happens to me.
You know? They sing Silent Night. Is it called Silent Night? Is it called Holy Night? Is it called
called-
Holy Night?
It's called Silent Night.
Silent Night, Holy Night?
Oh, Holy Night is a different song.
Okay, see? That's exactly what I'm saying. So I don't even know what song he's saying, but it's a good one when he sings it. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Seth Binderup
Don't
wants
take
to
the
know,
Lord's name in vain on the show talking about fucking Christmas songs, Vinny.
Granny, what was the first
Jesus.
gift you remember giving to Brian for Christmas?
Oh,
Bar of
my-
soap.
For his mouth? I
Oh
figured it
my
out.
gosh, that's been so long
I'm
ago.
smart.
You know, I remember that the late great Uncle Wayne. One year we were doing Christmas presents, and he in fact gifted soap, and it wasn't for people's mouths. And I remember everyone was just like a little bit weirded out by it. Like, are we dirty? Why did you get us soap?
Did he make it? Or
No,
did he buy
it was just like Dove soap or whatever.
I can't remember that.
I remember that because my mom was particularly offended.
She was?
I think so, yeah.
Well, he wasn't very good at picking presents anyway.
You don't say.
And he didn't get very many either.
Yeah, after he gave everyone soap,
He,
people were done getting presents for that guy.
till he started drawing, and then everybody got them.
His drawings were a great Christmas present because they were all very unique.
That is for sure.
Remember that book that we got that one year, Vinny?
I do.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything like that book before.
Not before or since.
Oh,
I've been on the internet. I've never seen anything like that.
it's probably true. Let's see. Jonathan James Greer asks, do you have a favorite, greatest Christmas memory?
Oh, there were so many. Oh, I remember one time the kids got me a airplane ticket to wherever I wanted to go for Christmas.
That's pretty great.
Yeah. That
Where'd
was
you go?
Yakima.
good. No, I used to go all over the place. San Diego mostly.
Definitely all over the place.
San
Down
Diego
there.
ain't bad.
Arizona
San Diego, California, Washington
and Arizona
State.
to see
Arizona,
my friend.
yeah.
Yeah, I used to travel a lot.
Idaho.
I don't know. I don't think I ever got to Idaho.
By the way, did Ed?
Idaho's between Montana and Washington. You must have driven through it at least.
She went through Canada to avoid the tip of Africa, or Idaho, or whatever it is.
Crossed the border twice.
Hey, did Ed request anybody wish him a happy birthday, or was that only on Sunday?
Oops.
He didn't
did
request
he-
that.
I didn't hear from Ed.
You just did it out of the goodness of your own heart.
Absolutely.
Are you aware, Granny, that Ed's 50?
Wow, is he really?
Yeah, can you believe that?
I can't remember. I thought I sent him something.
For his birthday? No,
Yeah.
you said something for one of his shows.
No, I mean, I might have give him a message, birthday message.
Oh, you sent him a message on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I did, though.
Vinny, you weren't here on Sunday, but I don't know if it was Craig or Lance that brought it up. But did you hear what Paul Fontaine did for his wife
I don't think I did, no.
for her birthday?
I don't believe I did.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, didn't he get her happy birthday wishes on the hockey game screen?
He got on the hockey game screen, but it was like happy 50th.
Is it not her 50th?
No, that's Vinny. If Bridget were turning 50 and you wanted to gift her
Gotcha.
a happy birthday on the big screen,
Now I've seen what
would
he
you
said.
say happy birthday, lovely wife, or would you say happy 50th?
I see what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine? Hey, you know what the most shocking thing about it was?
They're still married?
I didn't know Paul was married to Ed.
I don't get it.
David O'Neill wants to know, what do you want Santa to bring you for Christmas?
48 fucking hours I wait.
What do I want Santa to bring me for Christmas?
Yes, that's the question for Granny.
I can't think of one thing that I want. I can't travel much. I can't do anything. Just sit at home.
All right, well, that's what you get then.
A longer life, I guess.
A longer life is a good answer. All right, here's a better question. From Rob King. Granny, were you scared for Bryan's safety when he went on his Bigfoot hunt? Did you think he would find Bigfoot?
I didn't think he'd find him, and I wasn't worried.
Oh, God, that was a fun trip. I'm not going to lie. But I didn't find Bigfoot. But I was able to bond with John Moxley on the Jericho Cruise when we talked about it, so that made it worthwhile.
Oh,
He's a big fan of Bigfoot. Doesn't seem a lot in Vegas.
No, I wouldn't think so.
No.
There's no neon ape.
You're going to find Ed's Bigfoot up your backside when he sees you next time.
Oh, I'm worried about that.
Okay, this may be the strangest question we've ever had.
uh-oh.
Danny Carroll wants to know, and I'm blaming him even though I'm choosing to read it. What is your favorite humming noise?
Oh, my car.
All right, there you go.
So
Wow,
nice.
I wasn't expecting like a logical answer to that question.
And a quick one, too.
Yeah, that was good.
All right.
It's so quiet. And then I'm glad it's still running.
That's both good news. I like a car that's quiet and still runs. I like both those things.
I like the
The chat
rattle
liked
and-
my joke, so that's good enough for me.
the rattle and hum by you too.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Yeah.
A lot of Christmas-themed questions.
I can't answer the question on this show.
Ryan Fraser wants to know, what should I get my mum for Christmas?
Just depends on.
Oh, she can't be that old.
Granny.
It just depends.
Who's on first?
She's.
You know, there are people that actually think the show was better in 2006. Like, what the fuck? Next question.
Aaron Maddox. If you was a reindeer, what would be your reindeer's name? I can't believe I got that question.
Anchor.
I mean, the answer is simple. It should just be Granny.
Speedy.
Speedy.
The reindeer.
Speedy, yeah, Granny. When I
Granny
think of
brought
you,
us
Granny,
full
I think of
circle.
Speedy.
That's what I said. I'm a speedy reindeer.
Granny brought the whole thing full circle. We should stop right now.
Yeah, we actually should. We're back to Speedy McDonald's.
Yeah. I guess we're not, though. Carmine the Very wants to know, what is the worst car you ever owned? Mine was a Dodge Neon where the driver's seat had to be propped up with a 2x4.
Oh, we had a red Ford pickup, red and white, and I used to have to drive it to pick up material, and that thing missed all the way down and all the way back. And then it would get hot and stop right where you were at. and I'd have to sit there and wait for an hour for it to cool off before I could drive it again.
Are we talking about beater cars here? Is that it?
The worst car you ever owned.
Oh, bro. You want me to get started? Where should I begin? The Geo Metro.
Well, that was brand new, wasn't it, Bryan?
It was shit when it was brand new. That was about the worst car you could have got, was that Geo Metro. And then the Geo Metro ended up having problems. And so there was a brief time in high school that I drove my father's 1-ton fence-building pickup truck around. It was a white, it was probably, whatever was after the Model T, the Model U. It's just this horrible fucking car. And it had a big iron flatbed on it.
Did it have a gear in the front you had to crank to start it?
Dude, it had this giant... Yeah, oh my holy God almighty. I drove that fucking thing to school, if you can believe that.
Bryan, language.
I'm sorry, Granny, we're talking about horrible cars. It reminds me of my youth, the rough times I had coming up.
I remember that truck.
Yeah, it was horrible, wasn't it? Can you imagine driving that to school?
I cannot complain. I had a job when I was 12 years old throwing papers, and I continued to work up until the time I was 18. So I went out and bought a brand new pickup when I was 18 years old. And I've never had a garbage car before. Very lucky.
It is far from the worst car I ever owned. I actually liked this car. My very first car was a 1987 Toyota Corolla hatchback. It was the simplest machine I've ever seen in my life. If I still had this car, I think I could take Paisley right now and teach her to drive it in about an hour.
Clearly, you've never seen any of the videos I put on Twitter of her driving those animals around the mall.
Touche. But when it broke, it finally broke. And when it broke, it would not go faster or forward any faster than like 25 miles an hour, and it wouldn't go backward at all. So I had to park it strategically, either a place I could go forward or downhill, or in a worst case scenario, if it was flat, I could do flat ground and then open the car door and push it with my feet like Fred Flintstone.
Wow.
Before that, it was great.
All right, let's do one more.
Brandon Powell wants to know, am I the only one who likes Applebee's?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. My wife actually likes Applebee's.
Applebee's, it's not that bad. It's not any good.
No.
But I mean, the thing is, when you have gotten very drunk in your life and gone after a party at Sonny O'Mara's to a Jack in the Box and ordered the 2 tacos for 99 cents. And then you have to later hear people telling you what a horrible place Applebee's is. You really have to think about that these people haven't had any hardship in their lives. It's not that bad. Is it a Brazilian steakhouse? Is it, Ruth's Chris? Whatever, no. But, I mean, is it 2 tacos for 99 cents from Jack in the Box? It's much better than that.
Bryan, they have a new item on the menu where they've taken great chicken nuggets. How could you screw up a chicken nugget? And they've crushed up Cheetos, flaming hot Cheetos, and then they've rolled these chicken nuggets in that.
Bro, you don't have to eat it. I mean, they used to have all you can eat.
Bryan, who comes up with this?
Well,
stoners, that's who.
Bro, they used to have all you can eat riblets and fries, and that meant they'd bring you a basket of riblets, and then you would eat all of them, and then you'd say, "Give me more of these riblets," and they'd just keep bringing them to you, like all night if you wanted. So I can never fault a restaurant that gave me that much food for such a small amount of money. And I like those riblets.
All the swill you can eat.
Fries as well. Yeah, it wasn't bad. We were all young once.
I liked Applebee's when I could go.
See, look at that. It's all right. Okay, Vinny, we're done. Granny, let's do the wrestling report.
Oh, I have to.
Yes. That's your job. Why would you
to.
watch all that wrestling and then not talk about it? I can't even imagine.
Friday Night SmackDown. Sammy comes out and does a promo that he wants to fight Lesnar. And so then Lesnar comes out and beats him up. And then
sounds about right.
He does the same thing for Reigns. Comes out and boasts about how he's going to whip Reigns, and then Reigns comes out and beats him up. So, Brock comes out, stupid haircut. Gives Brock.
Gladys Gibson, everyone.
I guess Brock and Reigns are going to match up for the next big show.
Yeah, they're going to have their 85th match coming up on the beginning of the new year. That's going to celebrate the new year with an old match.
Well, I hope they kill each other.
Wow.
Okay, anyway, what I have.
You know you're supposed to like Brock now, Granny.
I'm supposed to?
Yeah, don't like him?
No. NXT Gargano versus Dexter. Gargano came out with 3 people with him. And Dexter, he's the really slow kind of guy, and he does a lot of staring. And so they stare at each other. Dexter is a slow but efficient starter. One at a time, Dexter goes at one time, Dexter goes under the ring, comes out on the other side.
What a creep.
He holds Gargano upside down, then drops him. One of the guys from outside the ring stands on outside rope holding a chair, trying to distract Dexter so that Gargano could surprise him from the back. Well, the surprise was for Gargano, because Dexter turned around and got Gargano and pinned him for the win. I gave that a 6. What I got here? Oh, I have for Friday Night SmackDown. I thought I had this. Banks versus Baszler. Corner body jumps on Banks. You know, when they get in the corner, they jump on him.
Mm-hmm.
Face kick. Lots of talk by Baszler. Banks has Baszler's foot on the rope, then kicks it. Chin subholds on Baszler. Banks drops the body roll for the count. I gave that a 6.
What'd she do for the count? Banks the body roll?
Yeah, you know, body roll.
Okay.
Okay, what I got here now? Raw. I didn't have a date for this one at all. Trish versus Lita. I think that's kind of an old one, isn't it?
Pretty old.
I think it was an anniversary or something of that match because they were talking about it on Raw.
Trish comes out with a broken nose, has his bandage on. They stare at each other. They do back and forth the usual things in and out of the ring. Top rope, neck hold. Trish takes bandage off. It's only a mask. They lock. They miss a few punches, hair pulling, side kicks, and a few 2 counts. Lita wins this. I give it a 5, but guess what? When I watched the whole show, I had the 2 reversed.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
You confused Lita and Trish Stratus.
I didn't know who they were when they were in the ring. So anyway, they were just the opposite of what I wrote down here. Instead of, I think it was Lita that came out with the broken nose, was it, or was it Trish?
I have no idea. That match is like 15 years old, Granny.
Well,
Vinny, look it up. That'll put you to work.
All right.
Find out which one had a broken nose.
Lita, Trish.
Broken nose. Yeah.
Let's see, full match.
Yeah.
Lita assaults Trish's broken nose.
Yeah, Trish had the face mask, according to the homies here, the top tiers.
Okay, did I have that right then?
I don't know.
It appears
Yeah, I did. I had it right.
No! Good job.
Oh, and that's much as I got there, but I have a few questions.
Yeah.
Did Paul Heyman switch to Lesnar from Reigns?
No, he's still with Roman Reigns.
Well, Lesnar was in the ring, and he seemed to think that he switched.
Well, it is an ongoing story, Granny. We're going to find out if he's going to switch or if he's going to stay.
Okay, and then another thing, what happened to Hardy, Jeff Hardy?
Dude, we don't know. It's a mystery.
In fact, just a while ago, I turned the TV on. It had something on there about, but it didn't say what it was. Let's see.
About Jeff Hardy?
Yeah.
It's on the news?
Yeah, on the front of my computer here. But it didn't say anything about it. Just had a picture of him and another guy.
Huh. December 6, 2004, by the way. So that was 17 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, we're decrepit.
And you know, I get Hardy and Owens mixed up.
Jeff Hardy and Kevin Owens?
Hardy and Kevin Owens?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't either. How?
I don't know. But I like Jeff Hardy. I like him.
Do you like Kevin Owens?
I like him too. But,
Okay, well,
but
are you
I
sure
like
you
him.
know who Kevin Owens is, Granny?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you're not thinking Finn Balor, for example?
Huh? What's that one?
Okay.
What does Kevin Owens look like?
Yeah, describe him.
Well, let's see. He usually comes all dressed. He doesn't have a, fancy outfit like the rest of them.
That's true.
Street clothes, yeah.
He's got dark hair,
Yeah,
Check.
but Owens is a lot heavier.
he is.
Check.
All right, you got him.
Yeah.
So you know that one guy is a lot heavier than the skinny guy, but you mix them up all the time.
I don't know why. Maybe it might be just the name, not the person. The name somehow. Okay, and then I want
Jeff
to have.
sort of rhymes with Kev.
Owens.
And then
Jeff
I was.
Hardy, Kevin Owen. Not even the same number of syllables. I can't help you, Granny.
Okay, so anyway, I was watching some of this where they said some of the worst moves some of the people have made, like McIntyre versus Shanka. McIntyre hit
Sanka?
him.
Shankly.
Shanka, I think it is. Anyway, McIntyre
Shankly.
hit him with a chair 20 times.
Oh my God.
That was
In a
definitely
row.
Shankly.
Yeah, so that's all I got for that. Now I got-
NC Delaney says Kevin Owens does look like a Jeff. Oh, he looks like a Jeff. I got it.
Not a Jeffrey.
But not the Jeff.
maybe a Jeff.
Okay.
Okay, there's my book.
Are we doing the same book that I got you, or are you going to move on to RD's
Well,
yet?
oh,
I
they
feel you
can-
should finish the children's book first.
Yeah, I think so, since
Yeah.
you bought it for me.
I agree.
Okay, here we go. The two wrestlers faced each other. Their long hair hid their faces. Bearer's Undertaker wore purple gloves and
Bro, we have to have heard this before. I feel like we've been talking about this Undertaker versus Undertaker match for like 3 weeks now. Am I wrong, everybody? You sure you're in the right
If
spot here?
If it's a new Undertaker book, it's going to talk about the same stuff.
It's not a new one. She's reading the same book, but she's reading, I think, the same chapter again.
no, because they're all repeats everywhere. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, read the repeat again.
Okay. Got it. The gray Undertaker threw a punch, but the purple Undertaker stopped it. Oh, okay, that I did do that one. That was when the two wrestle each other, right?
Yes.
But it was in the other book too.
What book are we reading?
We're reading the one you got me,
Okay.
but it still has a lot of stuff that the.
Okay, well,
last
we're
book-
reading multiple books about The Undertaker, Granny, and so, like, they're going to tell the same stories in every book. But go ahead and continue with this one.
Okay.
Okay.
That's why I asked how many Undertaker books there could be, by the way.
There's a lot of them.
Okay. He met with Vince McMahon. McMahon ran WWF. Then one day, Calloway got a phone call. The person asked, "Is this the Undertaker?" Calloway wasn't sure what to say, but he realized it was McMahon. He answered, "This is the Undertaker." The Undertaker made the WWF start at Survivor Series 1990. His team captain introduced him. He said he was from Death Valley. The Undertaker wore his signature black coat and hat. The Undertaker is a mysterious character. He usually doesn't do interviews outside the WWE. You want me to quit there?
We didn't read much, but I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine.
Well, the next is a pretty long page if you want some more.
I got 2 shows to review. Maybe we should wrap it up there for today.
Okay,
Save it for next week, Granny.
I'll put a paper in here to make sure.
Yes, put a paper in so we don't read about those damn purple gloves again.
Well, it's going to come over again because in Undertaker
well, yeah.
book is an Undertaker book.
That's true, Granny. That's true. But I mean, he had a long career. You'd think somebody would write about Hell in a Cell by now.
It's probably in there, one of them.
All right. Kids' book. I don't think they'll use the word hell, but
Okay.
all right, Granny. Well, that was really exciting.
So you can sigh again after I'm gone.
Oh,
like
get
you
out
did
of here,
last week.
Granny. Oh,
I
don't
know
pull
you-
that on
I-
me again.
I know you guys,
Well, it's good to take breaths, Granny. You know,
But
it
I-
keeps us alive.
but I catch you.
All right. Well, you know what I'm going to catch you doing, Granny? Red fiving.
All righty.
All right. Let's do this again next week. Sound like a plan?
Okay.
All righty.
If I'm around.
Get out of here, Granny.
I had to put that in there.
I know. Okay. Goodbye. All right, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Man, you just kept going.
All right, let's get this show on the road.
We watched AEW Rampage December 4th, right? Yeah, 2021. Well, two of us did.
I don't care what we start with, but it's funny that we're starting with Rampage, main eventing with Raw. Raw 4.
You have told me you always start with AEW.
I know, but in this situation, it's ridiculous. But go ahead.
Well, yes, we're gonna. What is the main event of Raw? I think the main event with the narcissist.
Yeah, the fucking lamest shitty match you ever saw in your life. The narcissist versus a nerd. And it fucking sucked.
So I'm gonna stay tuned for
Now,
that.
you know how hard it is to have a shitty match with a jobber geek? Fuck me. Go watch New Japan Strong and watch Jonah take apart a skinny geek. And then watch Raw 4 and watch fucking Luger. Who's probably made 50 times the amount of money that Jonah's made in this business.
Oh, way more.
Appalling.
Well, we'll start with Tony Nese and Sammy Guevara.
I liked it.
It was good. We have been talking about Nese for a while here, and what was what was said about him when he worked for World Wrestling Entertainment and what they're saying about him now, and it's all abundantly true. He looks awesome. His wrestling is very good, but when he gets in the ring, he's just a guy.
God, I was watching this match, and it turned into a really good match, but at no point was it turning into the kind of match where I said, man, I've been wrong about Tony Nese all along.
No.
He's a fountain of charisma. Never got that out of this right here. I kept watching it and waiting, and the match was very good, and Sammy was great, and Tony Nese looks good, works good, but he has no in-ring charisma to speak of whatsoever. And I mean, his interview is the same thing. It's like his interview that he did was fine when you compare it to when he never talked on WWE. Like, it's an improvement when you go from not talking to talking. But it's still, there was nothing, like, I don't know what it is, dude. I mean, I know what it is. He has no charisma.
Yeah.
But he's a wrestler. You have to have some sort of charisma to want to get into wrestling.
Everyone in this business has to be a little bit crazy, right?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not nowadays, but that was the impression I got.
So, other than that, Taz, of course, is on commentary. He keeps talking about his team Taz, and he kept over and over teasing what would happen if Dante Martin got in the ring with Sammy Guevara. And I'm thinking, is this a match they're building to, or is Taz going into business for himself? Or option 3, he's just a heel manager doing what any manager should do, try to get his guys set up for a title match. So good for him. But it's a match that doesn't seem to be on my radar. But anyway, they're going back and forth. A great lucha match suddenly broke out. There's tons of dives and top rope moves, and a very, very, very scary buckle bomb that Sammy survived, and he hit the go to hell out of nowhere and wins. Second half of the match especially was great.
See, this person here goes, a modern-day Dean Malenko, great wrestler, but for whatever reason, his personality doesn't really shine through. See, I couldn't say that because when I watched Dean Malenko, it's like Dean Malenko, his gimmick was that he was a robot. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't that kind of his gimmick?
The Iceman.
The Iceman.
So shows no
But
emotion.
Tony Nese's gimmick is not the Iceman. His gimmick is, what's his gimmick? The
pure athlete.
pure athlete or something like that, which I guess is kind of like an Iceman.
Well,
Not really, though.
an Iceman is someone who at least he's stern and stoic the entire time. That is an expression.
Yeah.
The deliberate attempt to hide emotion. Nese's face is blank the entire match. It's. I kind of see what he's going for, but Nese is an even more extreme example of that kind of thing.
You know what he reminds me of is, no, people will be mad, but kind of like a Chris Candido. Chris Candido,
No.
he had a great physique,
Yes.
but he would be a very mechanical wrestler.
In the ring,
But
I
he
guess.
had way more charisma outside the ring.
All right. I suppose that's fair. Just promos obviously blew Nese's away. Nese's body blows Candido's away, frankly.
Well, sure, but Candido had a good physique.
He had a very good physique. Let's see. Christian Cage is a promo. Nothing really new here. He's talking on behalf of the Jurassic Express. Notes that they are the top-ranked tag team. And the last time they were in this spot, the Lucha Brothers beat them They went on to beat the Young Bucks for the tag team titles. Well, now they have beaten the Elite themselves. They'll be watching what happens in the main event tonight. It's important to scout the match, even though Phoenix isn't here. And he promises once again that thanks to him, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy will be the next tag team champions. And if you haven't watched this yet, you're going to go watch this. Just watch the very end, because I promise you, if this had been like 3 screenshots longer, Jungle Boy would have cracked and burst out laughing. He was holding it back the entire time.
He knows his doom is coming.
I think so.
He knows Christian's been planning this for months now after this fucker threw him out of that battle royal or whatever it was months and months and months ago. You know you're a great heel when you get mad at somebody and you just hold on to that anger for months and months.
Bitter.
And you plot.
Yes. Conniving and devious. Jade Cargill versus the Kick Demon, Janaya Kai.
Yeah, is she on Team Kick?
The Kick Demon
She's
is
not the captain.
Way better nickname than Captain of Team Kick.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she didn't do any kicking, I don't think.
Where's the rest of Team Kick?
As far as I know, it's one person. And frankly,
I think there were more people, but
call herself
there's
that
only
anymore.
one right now.
So Janaya Kai is out here just like the boss character in every terrible 1980s kickboxing movie you ever saw. Match was like 20 seconds. There was no kicking, I don't think. Jade Cargill squashed her, one with the Jaded, which is the Glam Slam. So, I mean, it's 20 seconds, not much to say. But then afterwards, she goes to beat her up more. And she goes for the brogue kick, as Sheamus calls it. And instead of getting her in the face, she gets her in the belly. And Jade, of course, is a very tall woman. And it's possible that Janaya Kai was the one whose timing was off on this, and that's why it looked so bad. But when this tournament started, I thought the whole thing was going to be set up for Jade to win this belt. And the more I watch Jade, I think, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't put the belt on her just yet.
Well, you know, it's a secondary title, and I can see that argument. I don't think it matters all that much with the TBS title, because I don't think she's going to be doing long matches. She'd probably be a very dominant champion for a while till somebody came along. But I couldn't help but notice that when Thunder Rosa left the booth, I think it was Ricky Starks, I think, goes, "Why does this always happen?" And when he said that, I mean, when your announcer is saying that the same fucking thing happens on every single show, that should be an indication that you're going to the well one too many times with some of this stuff. They had a backstage brawl a while ago, and I really liked it because we never saw them. And next thing you know, we're having these brawls on every show, backstage brawls on every show, somebody leaving the announce table on every show. I think that maybe we could kind of, back off a little bit on the guys running in on every single show. Seems like it's getting to be overkill. Am I wrong?
No, I agree. Not every. You don't always need something to happen every segment. You can take a breath once in a while.
Well, you can, but my point is, do we need someone leaving the booth on every Rampage? Jericho left the booth on the last Rampage. Thunder Rosa left the booth on this Rampage. We had the pull-apart brawl with Jade and Thunder Rosa. Yeah. Last week, we had the pull-apart brawl with, was it Britt? And who was Britt having a pull-apart with? Remember? We just had one a week ago. There's so many that they're running together now.
Yeah. The Super Click calls out Orange Cassidy, the best friends, and the Young Bucks issue any two of them to face them in a tag team match, I think on Dynamite, somewhere down the line. We get a recap of
Wednesday, Young Bucks versus two members of the Best Friends.
Well, there you go then. There you go. Got a recap of Jericho starting things with 2.0 and 2.0, kicking his ass all the way over to Europe. And Eddie Kingston does a promo. He doesn't care about Jericho. That's none of his concern, but he does still have business with a 2.0 for messing with him. 10 days from now, or roughly, Winter is coming. Hangman Adam Page defends the AEW title against Bryan Danielson. Before that, on Dynamite this week, is Bryan Danielson versus John Silver. And we get a Danielson Dark Order video package where the point of it is Danielson says this, I know John Silver's a great athlete and he's the strongest member of the Dark Order, but he's also a complete joke and making jokes all the time and calling himself Johnny Hungy. I wasn't joking around at the age of 30. I was winning world championships, he notes. Also on Dynamite, MJF will defend the Dynamite Diamond Ring in the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. Jamie Hayter versus Riho, and the Young Bucks versus Rocky Romero and Chuck Taylor. So there you go. We have our best friends picked out. Mark Henry interviews FTR and Death Triangle. And Pac's got an eye patch on. And they had a replay. that shows him. He's on the top rope, and Malachi Black runs up and spits the black mist in his left eye. Pac's out here wearing the eye patch on his right eye. Oops.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Which I actually thought meant something. Like there's gonna be like he's faking an injury, but I don't think it's where it's going now. So tonight they say they're out for revenge for Rey Fenix. FTR says tonight's not your revenge, it's our revenge. Phoenix isn't here, which means we don't get a tag team title shot. You robbed us of a chance to regain the titles. They're all going back and forth and shouting. And finally, Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, says, "That's enough! Everyone quiet down, because that's enough talking. It's time for the main event." And everyone goes crazy.
You know, two things here. First off, I don't know if you know this about Pac, but he wears glasses. And I used to wear glasses before they shot lasers into my eyeballs and fixed them. And I did not wear my glasses when I wrestled. And I also did not wear contacts because I just couldn't get contacts into my eyes. It just didn't work for me. But anyway, one of my eyes was way worse than the other eye. Mm-hmm. So it is possible that Pac here just covered up his worst eye.
Probably.
Because if you can have one eye, like if you get the mist sprayed, and even though the guy sprayed it in your right eye, but like your right eye is your good eye, you're not going to cover that eye and try and do all your high spots. So maybe that's what happened here.
I do wear contacts, and my right eye is almost. I wear a contact in my right eye, but it's there. But my vision there is actually very good. It's not 20/20, but it's good enough. I wouldn't need anything. In my left eye, without contacts, I am legally blind.
Oh, bro, I was legally blind in both eyes.
Oh, that sucks.
I like double legally blind.
Yeah.
I was 2200.
No wonder you hit me so hard.
2200. I never hit you. Actually, I super kicked you all the time. I had 2200 in my good eye and 2250 in my bad eye.
It's very bad.
That means what a normal person can see at 250 feet.
Yes.
I had to be 20 feet away to see. That wasn't good.
Anyway, the match is awesome. It's FTR versus Pac and Penta.
Yeah, who was the guy that sent the report to Dave saying this match wasn't very good?
I don't know. I wouldn't trust this correspondent anymore.
Oh, come on now. This match was fucking awesome.
Not a reliable source. Among the highlights are when the Death Triangle does the foot stomp to the groin area. Excalibur always calls it the perineum. But here, we didn't have Excalibur. We had Ricky Stark saying it's a kick to the coccyx. Which is pretty close to true. Pac has one eye. For any of you who have ever done... if you've ever done yoga and done balancing and then try to do it with your eyes closed, it's much harder. So when when Pac tries a springboard, his vision is off, which throws off his balance, and he trips. That's how they work the eye injury into this, and that makes total sense.
Yeah, I think the person that did the report thought that must have been a botch.
Possible.
Because if you weren't paying attention, it looked like a botch. But it was actually a fucking awesome spot because he goes for the deal, he slips, he grabs his eye because the issue is with his eye, and then Dax comes up and just goes, kabam! And he punches him right in the fucking other eye. That's how they got the heat. Yeah. That was awesome.
Cash is awesome, and FTR is awesome, of course. But I love that Cash can't help himself. Everything will be going totally fine, and even though their gimmick is no flips, just fists, at some point in the match, he has to try some kind of flip or jump or charge or something. He can't help himself, and it always goes wrong every single time, like Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
And they have this match totally in hand until Pac's against the barricade, and Cash is on the apron, and he can't help himself. He leaps high in the air, throws his arms up into a giant Y, and just crashes and burns right into the barricade. And it sets up the Penta hot tag, or that they actually did more to even tease. The place is just going absolutely nuts when Penta finally tags in. Tully's up in the apron bitching about stuff. He gets clobbered. Pac recovers from his earlier vision-related problems, hits a big giant moonsault to the floor, and Ricky starts something like he's putting his life on the line to save his friends. Taz, I would do the same for you. And Taz says, So eventually, Malachi Black appears. He spits black mist into Pac's good eye. And FTR grabs Pac and pins him. Wacky finish. Great match. Great match.
So Evan here says he had a friend at the show, and they said that the match was heavily edited. They edited out a lot of the waiting on spots moments, where you're standing there waiting for the guy to do the spot, and he's taking forever. And they also told me the Pac ISL spot did not register with the live crowd. They thought it was a botch. That's what I thought happened. But it wasn't a botch. It was an excellently put together spot is what it was. Yeah, this match was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
And so FTR just be dicks, the unmasked Penta afterwards. They're parading around with his mask on their heads. And then Malachi shows up and goes after, tries to dig the eyeballs out of Pac's head. It's like a complete asshole. I would say a bastard, but the fact is Pac is the bastard. And there were chants of, let's go bastard, early in this match.
It was out bastarded.
Yes. There you go. Rampage, as always, a fun show.
Bastardized.
Rampage was a much better show than WWF Monday Night Raw.
Bro, we got snowed by that
4.
show with
There was one good show.
the second. It was like episode 1 was
Awful.
Yeah, and episode 2 was
Bad,
good.
bad. Yeah.
And in episode 3 had the Loser Leaves Town match. And then this had one thing that was memorable. I can tell you that much. We'll get to it.
We open with Tatanka versus Damien Demento, which is actually a fine 4-minute TV match, actually. Nothing to bury here. So Demento's gimmick is he hears voices. He gets thrown outside, and you may not have picked this up because...
Maybe there was a young Randall K. Orton that watched Damien Demento and thought, someday I'm going to have voices in my head.
Not so much the haircut or whatever that gear he has on is, but the voices I will do. He's gets thrown outside, and he looks to the sky, and he's talking, and of course he is not mic'd, and the announcers are all talking over each other, so you may not have heard him. I wouldn't blame you, but if you listen closely, you hear Damien look to the sky to the voices, and Damien Demento says, quote, "I will do what you ask me to do. The Indian will suffer."
Horrible.
He was wrong, by the way. The Indian did not suffer. The Indian beat him up, hit some chops, and a Samoan drop and pinned him. It was a fine from a TV match.
No disrespect to these two guys here, but, drugs and alcohol, my friends, bad combination. Drugs, alcohol, steroids. By the way, I'm not accusing either of these guys.
No, of course not.
This is a general statement for like the 80s and 90s, because you see a lot of these guys, and they're all beat up all to hell, and then you watch a match like this, and you're like, how? Like, they don't do shit. And it's not like they did shit on house shows either. It's not they went and busted their ass on the house shows, and then on TV they took it easy. Like, if this was a TV match, you could imagine the match they did on a house show. This was the most nothing happening, easy, basic. The match was like 4 minutes, and 2 minutes was a fucking chin lock. I'm not sure Tatanka took any bumps. He makes a 2-move comeback and gets the pin. It was like, oh my God. Then you think about the guys today. Like, pick any match on a random Dynamite and, compare that to this Tatanka match here. And it's just, it's incredible. When you look at the broken... Now, granted, they worked far, 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 far more dates. But they did nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Wrestling has changed in the... What, 30 years now? Almost?
I don't want to disrespect the guys of that era, okay?
Yeah.
When I say they did nothing. Like, I say that from a place of love. That's what I'd like to do. Like, that's my kind of match. You go in there, and the best match was when you went in there, and it was an easy match, and, I don't know, you guys, some of you are young, and you don't remember this, but I'm going to pull out my grizzled veteran card. I'm going to tell you about the old days. The old days, and I'm not that old, so it was even more so in the much older days. But do you remember, Vinny, when you would go into the locker room and you'd see one of your buddies and you'd talk about the match tonight? You all ready for tonight? And the guy go, yeah, I got one bump. That's what he would say. We heard this all the time.
Yeah.
I got one bump. That's what they would say.
Yeah.
And, you'd go in there and you'd have your match. You do the light handshake. And, when the match was over, you'd hug, and oh my God, it was a day off. It was so easy. How many times do we say that? It was so easy. That's the way. And it wasn't to be lazy. It was you were trying to be smart. You were trying to go out there, and you were trying to go in, and you're trying to go in healthy, and you're supposed to try to come out healthy. And it wasn't like you were trying to fuck the fans. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to fuck those fans tonight. I only got one bump. The whole point was, we're going to go out there and we're going to entertain these people. And if they paid, back then, like $9 for the fucking ticket, we're going to give them their $9 worth, goddammit. And we did. And
Speak for yourself.
Buddy and I, we still did some, I did a senton bomb off the top or whatever, and we did a couple flips and everything like that. But still, the point was, it was supposed to be easy. It was supposed to be a night off. It was supposed to be, man, let's go do another show tomorrow. No one's hurt. Everybody's happy. I'm not saying that people aren't happy and not getting hurt today, but I don't think that, your average guy today is going backstage and going, oh, you ready for tonight? Yeah, I'm taking one bump. No one's saying that nowadays. I don't think.
Wouldn't think that's uncommon.
Yes.
Now, the thing I got out of this match was these haircuts on these two men and the investment of hats that they must have. Tatanka with the mullet, with the red dye job on top. Brian, this man had a family. He had to go through airports.
Yeah, bro, but you know what? This man had a family, and he had to put food on the table.
Now,
and when you have no food on the table and someone goes, you know what, I'll give you some money to put food on the table, but your hair has to be red, you say, what shade? Right?
Damien Demento has a almost completely bald head, except on the back. At about the midway mark, he's left this
It's a W
blotch of hair.
that he has grown out.
Yeah.
Like if you shaved your head, except you just left a W carved in the back and just buzzed that part, but then you grew out the W. And that's the long hair in his head.
They had to go out in public like this.
Yeah, dude, that was the point. You wanted to be recognized back then. You wanted people to go, oh my God, are you Damien Demento? And be like, yeah, brother. You see my match with Tatanka? On Raw?
Man, it's like I'm there.
We had brief clips from the Headlock on Hunger show. So it's a very nice event they did to raise money for famine relief. And there, Brett comes out. He's carrying the big oversized check for $100,000 to the Red Cross, and he gets in the ring and he's posing for people. Everyone's cheering, and they brought out the whole crew to surround ringside. This obviously was the end of the show, and like the Beverly Brothers are out there and whoever. But Brett climbs up with a turnbuckle and holds the giant check over his head, and he's right in front of all people, Money Incorporated.
Yes.
Doing all they can to raise some cash for the hungry.
Bro, it's not what you make, it's what you save. You think that fucking guy became a millionaire by spending all his money?
I guess not.
No. Probably could write off some of those donations, though.
Oh, what a segment we had next.
Oh, my God. Allow me. Brutus the Barber Beefcake is interviewed by Vince McMahon, and we have been watching a lot of Saturday Night's Main Event, so we've seen a fair share of Brutus the Barber. But I was unaware because we have not been watching Raw, because it didn't exist. But anyway, I guess it's Raw 4, right? So anyway, he comes out, and I think nothing of it until it is noted that you have been gone for 3 years. Because it was, in fact, in 1990 that Brutus the Barber Beefcake had his face destroyed in a parasailing accident, and they thought he was going to die, and they had to reconstruct his face and put plates in it and the whole 9 yards. And quite frankly, they did a fucking hell of a job.
They did.
Because, for a guy that literally had his skull crushed, I mean, he looked exactly the same as he did in the 80s, basically.
And wrestled.
Yeah.
For years.
So he comes out, and he starts out by telling this story about the hardships that he has overcome, and he explains that he had to put his mother in the ground, and
She had cancer, you see.
when he said he put his 85-pound mother who had cancer in the ground, the crowd goes, oh, and then he goes, I had to put my father in the ground, he had a heart attack. The crowd goes, oh, and dude, he's talking about his dead parents. And because the crowd is doing this, oh, and there's something about his fucking delivery that I'm like, this is not supposed to be like some fucking comedy segment. Am I the only one that was like, you're telling this like it's a fucking joke?
His delivery was 80s pro wrestler delivery.
Yeah.
As he's telling the true story of the great tragedies he's gone through. Mother died, father died, Wife leaves him, takes all his money.
Yeah, then he gets to he goes, my wife left me and she took me for everything I had. And everything that he says, he's saying in such a way that it's like it's part of a comedy bit. And so I think the crowd is thinking the same thing because they're going, oh, but not in like a really, sympathetic way. It's like it's almost a mocking way.
Yes, they were making fun of him.
So I'm like, what in the fuck is this? Is like the worst segment I've ever seen. And I think he was supposed to be a babyface talking about how he was actually going to like fight for the fans when he came back, right?
That was the plan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now these sensitive New Yorkers, if you listened closely, you could hear one of them when Brutus took a pause. Get over it, bro.
God.
Dude, it gets worse than that. When he gets in the details of what happened with the parasailing accident, his face is crushed. His eyeballs don't work because they're in the back of his brain. His ears still worked fine. And he's talking about how he could hear the EMTs in the helicopter and the doctors in the hospital saying he didn't have much of a chance. And he pauses to take a breath, and you actually hear a human being find it in his heart, recorded for posterity here, to shout out, not making this up, kill yourself.
Yes. That happened.
God.
So somehow, I don't even know how Brutus kept his composure here. I'd have been slaughtering people.
Here's the thing, Vinny. Here's the thing. And you know this as well as I do about 80s workers. There were a lot of them who were just like, they were gimmicks, right?
Oh, yeah.
They were always on. And I just watched this and I thought, has this guy been on for so long that he can't turn off? So, like, when it's time for him to actually talk about some real-life horrible thing that happened to him, he can't help but tell the story as Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
This was not
so
Ed
it comes
Leslie.
off as a bit.
This is not Ed Leslie.
No, this was Brutus Beefcake telling about Ed Leslie.
This was the Booty Man.
God, this was amazing. Not in a good way.
No. So, the first half of this, I'm sure everything he said was the exact truth or very, very, very close to it. And he explains when he reached out for the hand of God, and instead he found the hand of the Hulkster.
God.
And when they took the bandages
This
off,
is real dialogue.
yeah, and when he took the bandages off, and the first thing he saw was red and yellow, and Hulk told him to
The first thing he saw after his parasailing accident was the red and yellow.
of Hulkamania. Yes.
Maybe Stephanie was right. We need to fucking write promos for these fuckers.
So Hulk tells him to be taken care of. Vince is very concerned, by the way, the liability of this. Should this man get injured again? Should you be wrestling again? And Brutus says, I'm a desperate man. I've got nothing left. Hulkster told me to go for it. After all this suffering, you think a little pain in this ring will make me give up or quit? Not a chance. I have an open contract. I will take on anybody. This segment was revolting.
It was horrible, dude. It was horrible.
So he finishes, thrown in a commercial, and Bartlett is trying to say something. And Macho Man knows it's Rob Bartlett. He doesn't know exactly what he's going to say, but he knows it's going to be bad, and he just steamrolls on over him. What a terrible moment for Brutus Beefcake. I love that man. I don't want to see him take these risks. We'll be right back. Just would not let Bartlett say whatever he was going to say. So one of the fun things about these old Raws,
Bartlett's been fine the last few weeks, by the way.
he was terrible in the first show. He's been
Yeah, he's just there now. He's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He has a couple bad jokes here and there, but whatever. It's an hour wrestling show.
Sounds like this show.
Yeah.
And we have many bad jokes. Non-stop bad jokes. So one of the fun things of watching these old Raws is how many of the guys who were jobbers then went on to be some level of success down the road. What a dream match we had here in this contest.
Yeah, we sure did.
High Energy, the team of Owen Hart and Coco Beware, versus Hall of Fame jobber Iron Mike Sharp and Von Krush,
Von Krush, they called him.
future Big Vito, SmackDown superstar.
He was small Vito on this particular show here today.
Yes.
Did a job in about 5 seconds to High Energy.
It's been way, 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 way too long since I have seen an Iron Mike Sharp match. I bet Iron Mike Sharp had fun every single match he ever had.
Of course he did.
Is there a
course he
louder
did.
man in wrestling than Iron Mike Sharp?
You're looking at him.
Not consistently. There may be guys who have like a louder howl or scream or bellow, but no one makes more noise constantly bell to bell. I'm not sure he inhales. He's just no, whoa, for 5 minutes. Eventually, he tags in Vito. Vito's gear is too big. He is absolutely terrified, but he gets through everything. He gets through his 2 spots. Okay, they whip him in and do a double clothesline and then do the big double drop kick deal, and they pin him. It's fine, but it was wacky. So a few weeks back, we had the angle where Doink tore his own arm off and attacked Crush with it. They do a replay. I don't know when the film JFK came out. It may have been around this time, but I'm not joking. This was a Zapruder film analysis of Doink removing his arm frame by frame and attacking Crush with it. And Savage tells us, word on the streets is that fake arm was filled with lead.
Wow.
Doink the Clown versus Typhoon. Doink's music is the best, and then Doink himself is also the best.
Yeah, he was.
He gets in there.
By far the highlight of the show.
Oh, by miles and miles. Yeah. It's Matt Bourne, obviously, as Doink, and there is, with the exception of Brett, there was nobody in World Wrestling Federation 93? 93, January 93. There was nobody in this company doing more or better wrestling than Doink. And he's doing double legs and trips, and he's float overs and smothering. He's just mocking Typhoon there. It's a work, of course, but the way he's doing it, no one else wrestled like this. And he's awesome at it. And it's a short match. He does a diving elbow and sits on Typhoon's belly and grabs him by the tights and right in the ass. He grabbed his tights and pinned him. And so Doink wins. He's outside. He's looking at the camera, and he's doing the scary, vacant blinking, and then breaks down to a cackle. Doink was so great. Doink was ahead of his time,
dude.
Man.
He was so awesome. The when he walks around and he's standing there next to the ring post, just looking off into space like a fucking creep, and he just beat the shit out of this fucking giant Typhoon, and he pins him, like pulling on his Johnson. By the way, he pulled literally on the taint of his tights.
I wrote grabbing him by the sack. Yes,
the coccyx.
Yeah. He
all of these
yanked on both
that's
testicles
a little farther back,
and pulled.
Yeah.
But anyway, he pins him, and
I'd be pinned too.
You know, Typhoon was angry, but he also had the look on his face like, I ain't long for this place. Like he knew he was fucked when he got pinned by the fucking clown.
Just got pinned by a clown.
Yeah,
that
was a natural disaster.
This was a glorified squash match.
And I loved it.
Doink kicked his butt. Doink's elbow drops were fantastic.
Dude, everything Doink did was
Everything
awesome.
he did was great. He did great takedowns, and he's doing He's a chain wrestling clown. Wrestling. And Vince is talking about he's a great wrestler. That's right. He is a wrestler, Vince McMahon. He's a fucking wrestler, Vince. And a great one at that.
Who did they end up replacing Doink with? I mean, Matt Bourne with?
Something Apollo was his name.
He
Ray Apollo or Phil Apollo?
Ray Candy? Or was that a different guy?
I don't know. He was not as good.
No.
And sadly, I don't think Matt Bourne was long for the role of Doink. But while he was there, he was great. Great. Vince McMahon interviews Todd Pettengill to plug the Mania show on Saturday morning. So Todd, of course, is a professional radio guy. He goes right into shill mode. Says, we're going to have a guest this Saturday morning who has been wreaking havoc in the WWF. And Vince pulls the mic back and says, that could be anyone. Vince on these
Ray
early
Apollo.
Raws. Ray Apollo.
God, he's played by 50 different people, it says here.
Steve Lombardi did it at one point.
Matt Osborne, Steve Kern, Lombardi.
Steve Kern, yes. Yeah.
Ray Apollo, Dusty Wolf, Mark Starr, Ace Darling, Eugene.
Of course.
Jeff Jarrett, Men on a Mission.
Jarrett did it.
And the Bushwhackers
Jericho.
is the Four Doinks.
That was not great.
Yeah, Chris Jericho.
Frankly, it stops being great as soon as Matt Bourne leaves.
Yes.
But anyway, Vince's understated comedy on these early Raws has been a surprising
he's great.
Surprising treat. So the anyone in this case is Giant Gonzalez, who Todd notes is 7'8". He doesn't say 8 feet tall. Even 7'8" is an exaggeration. He was really, really tall. But anyway, so there you go. Everyone tune into Mania to see Todd Pettengill interview Giant Gonzalez. Speaking of giants, Andre the Giant has passed away.
This was actually really nice.
This is a very...
They mentioned he was an all-time legend. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way. I don't know if we mentioned this or not, but when Brutus the Barber Beefcake when that segment was going to start. It actually began with Vince McMahon in the ring saying, "We have a special interview tonight with an absolute all-time great of professional wrestling." And I thought, who the fuck's he talking about here? And then he goes, "Brutus the Barber Beefcake." What all-time? And then he said the same thing about Andre the Giant. I did not classify Andre the Giant and Brutus Beefcake as kind of at the same level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, seems to be a gap there.
But they introduced the video or the thing, and they did the 10-bell salute, and they had some pictures, and it was very nice.
And you got to remember, 1993, a lot of people probably heard about Andre's death for the first time from Howard Finkel.
Yeah.
Here on this announcement.
Yeah.
And they had a little video. It was understated. It was classy. It was very, very nice.
It was amazing that this was on the same show as that.
It really is, actually.
That interview with Brutus, the Beefcake.
Yokozuna versus Bobby DeVito.
Okay. Match itself, squash, whatever. Mm-hmm. But apparently they're going to be feuding Yokozuna with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Okay. Right. Hacksaw, horrible wrestler, but you know what he was? An incredible promo. And you know that a man is an incredible promo when you call him on the telephone, and on the telephone, with a extremely limited frequency response, he manages to have the promo of the show by leaps and fucking bounds.
He did.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan's promo on the fucking telephone. He has no idea Yokozuna's name. And
I thought it was Granny.
When I first heard it, I thought, is this some borderline racism here? But then I realized he actually doesn't know the guy's name. He called him Yakazuma.
Yakazuma.
Yeah, he had no idea. And Vince tries to correct him. And he didn't know, he didn't care what the guy's name was.
His exact response was, whatever you call him, some Japanese name.
Yeah. And so he cuts his promo on the guy, and he I'll be damned if I'm going to lose in my country, blah, blah, blah. And he's out of it, screaming at the top of his lungs as Yokozuna's getting the pin. I just thought this was an amazing promo by old Hacksaw. On the phone.
Probably a landline, at least.
Oh, sure.
Everyone had landlines.
Well, of course it was a landline.
Cell phones.
What, do you think it was a cellular telephone in 1993?
Invented. Paul E. dangerously had one.
It was a mobile phone. It's different.
I see.
You know, most of the time when they do these, you can tell it's them in the studio. I truly believe that
of course he was at home.
They called Hacksaw
in Glens Falls on the it's a hotline, like the red light blinks when Vince calls him. He called him Yakazuma. He's cutting this promo, and the whole issue here was the reason there was an evil Japanese person running around is because in the early 90s there was a great controversy about how people in the U.S. were buying a lot of Japanese cars and Japanese products, and people in Japan weren't buying so many American stuff.
True.
And, God, remember the good old days when the great international conflict was a trade war?
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds so cozy and quaint. Oh, that'd be awesome to have that be the biggest problem in the world these days. So, the other note here, of course, Bobby DeVito is another future ECW personality bringing all the baldies in on the show. So Vince interviews Money Incorporated. He says,
it was a great promo.
Gentlemen, well, eventually.
Not sure it was as good as old Hacksaw, but it was pretty damn good by DiBiase.
So he says, gentlemen, you requested yours this time. What do you have to say? And DiBiase begins to recite Humpty Dumpty, the nursery rhyme. And he blows it.
It was actually funny because Paisley was watching some show where like they just sing a bunch of songs. You know, these shows for kids.
Sure.
They sing songs and everything. And we moved up to my office because I had to clean this place up after the debacle that was Observer Live today. And so as I'm watching Raw on my phone as I bring her upstairs because I'm behind. And so I'm watching it, and as I'm trying to get her show going, all of a sudden Ted DiBiase starts telling this nursery rhyme or whatever. And Paisley stopped, and she just listened because it's like one of her songs. And she was very intrigued by the delivery of the $1 Million Man, I will say. So hopefully it's not her first memory of wrestling. I hope she forgets it tonight.
So as DiBiase notes, Humpty Dumpty sat in a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's men and all the king's horses. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, he's he's changing it up. He's just something about how they couldn't fix the place where Beefcake's blood courses. What's he going to finish this with?
The armed forces.
He stops and says, couldn't put Humpty back together again. He just screwed up the line at live TV. So they watch Beefcake's promo, and yes, they admit it's a pretty sad story. But when you got your face smashed, they must have knocked a screw loose. 3 years away from this ring, you come out here, you issue an open challenge. That is a slap in the face to men like us.
I wonder if he even meant to say that, because like he did have metal plates in his face and there were screws.
Oh, they laughed at that line. That was okay. Heel comment.
I'm surprised they didn't cackle at a slap in the face. That was good. That was a good line.
So they say you can start your comeback. You can start with a champion. You can take your choice out of the two of us. And they decide instead, nah, we'll flip a coin. And DiBiase, he flips the coin, and it lands on the back of his hand, and he slaps it down. And he looks at Irwin, says, heads I win. Irwin agrees. And Ted peeks at the coin. All right, I won. And he puts it away. Irwin is skeptical of his own partner because they're all dirty bastard heels. They don't even trust each other. At the end of the day, they're just going to fight Beefcake, so they agree with it. Out comes Jimmy Hart. Now, at the time, Money Incorporated was tag team champions, and Jimmy was still managing them. So you're not this. I guess this right here is the start of the Jimmy Hart babyface turn that lasted the rest of his career so far. So he wants to know why his men are wasting their time. You guys are the tag team champions of the world. You have nothing to gain by wrestling Brutus Beefcake. What happens if you get hurt in this match? And now they're offended. You think we're going to get hurt against Brutus Beefcake? If anyone gets hurt, it's going to be him. And they bury Beefcake for a while. You're a tax cheat like everyone else. You said your wife took everything. You only have one asset left, that $1 million face. And we wouldn't do anything to harm that, would we? And Jimmy Hart's still frustrated, and he drags them away. Making his Raw debut, the narcissist Lex Luger.
We talked about this match earlier. I don't know what more is to add. A absolutely fucking boring, nothing happening, lazy match.
He comes out, and first he just poses for a long time. They have a mirror in the ring. He's posing and admiring himself.
He's got muscles.
He's playing faux classical music.
He's got abdominals and latissimus dorsi and deltoids.
Pectoralis major.
Trapezii.
Yes.
Great.
So the whole show, they have ring girls before and after the break, and they're young ladies in very, very skimpy bikinis holding up signs that say things like, steak tartare is raw. I don't know. But for Lex's segment, the ring girl is what in modern terms we would call a BBW. She's thick.
I'll say.
And Lex is appalled. This is the woman they have sent out to hold up the I don't know what we call it, the ring card for his segment. He's disgusted. We go to break, we come back. Now, this is 1993. Mr. Perfect's been around for years. So I'm not sure if this is a new segment or if they just happened to randomly re-air this from when he debuted.
Yeah, this is bizarre.
But he's there with Steve Jordan, all-pro tight end of the Minnesota Vikings from the NFL. Talks about great Vikings quarterbacks like Warren Moon and Fran Tarkenton, but neither of them are the perfect quarterback. That would be Mr. Perfect. And so Mr. Perfect starts throwing passes to Steve Jordan here. And, of course, every pass is right on target. Perfect pass. And Steve's very impressed. And Perfect says, I got one more trick. And I remember this happened. Mm-hmm. I forgot how fantastically wacky the whole thing is.
Well, it was great because you have something that you remember in your mind, and then you see it, and it's totally different from what you remember.
Yes.
I remember that he shoots and then just starts sprinting. Or no, throws. It was football.
Yeah.
So that's what I pictured in my head.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But instead, what actually happens is he takes his football and he tosses it and he stands there. And I thought he ran after the ball. He stands there and he looks over and he winks or whatever. And then he starts sprinting. So he actually, I'm like, how fucking high did you throw this ball in storyline? Like, did you throw it over the moon? Like, he fucking waited an hour to start running. Then he runs over and I was like, oh my God.
So it's all
where is this great shit nowadays?
This is exactly what happened. That part's right. As soon as he starts running, it's all in slow-mo. Mm-hmm. And here's the ball in the air, and here's Mr. Perfect running. And here's the ball in the air. And here's Mr. Perfect running. And his music is playing. Bomb, 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 bomb. And he's not even running that fast, honestly. He's doing a light jog. Straight in super slow-mo, like his Chariots of Fire. And there's also, they keep cutting back to Steve Jordan. Very good football player, very bad actor.
Yes.
So they keep cutting back to that face over and over. And Perfect catches his own pass, and Steve Jordan is so impressed. Like, I remembered this and how awesome it was, but it was so much wackier and so much greater than I remembered.
It was awesome.
Sadly, we go from that to Lex Luger versus Jason Knight. And yes, it is that, Jason Knight. So we are told Beefcake is expected.
This wasn't very hardcore.
No, there's nothing extreme
this was
about
very
this.
not hardcore. This was softcore wrestling.
No.
That's what it was.
I've seen that too. This wasn't that. So we are told Beefcake has accepted DiBiase's challenge for 2 weeks, as it turns out. Vince is plugging other shows in the USA Network, and I guess he's doing a read for Quantum Leap. I don't know if you read this before. I think Vince has thought this was a great name because he gets to the star of the show and he says, "It's Quantum Leap with Scott Bakula." In Vince's voice. It's just awesome.
I'm surprised Vince never gave the guy a name Bakula.
So Lex does a running elbow and then a standing elbow and wins with his pinky on Jason's chest.
This was the most... I could not even believe this. Like, I couldn't even fucking believe it. God, the first time you ever see Lex Luger on Monday Night Raw, and it's that. Like, not even an impressive squash, not even a couple of cool moves. Just walk and pose. And then there was that one spot where I think he clotheslined the guy. Yeah. But I'm actually not sure because the guy looked like he bumped too early or Luger didn't touch him or whatever. And Luger looks down at the guy and then he looks around at the people and he goes, "Not like that." Like something went wrong. Something went wrong in this match?
Yes.
God, horrible.
They had vignettes for this guy for months, and he shows up and puts in that performance. Man, it was sucked.
Yeah, this was a bad performance here.
And then after the match, he decides, I'm going to grab this Jason Knight guy. I'm going to give him a giant swing. I guarantee you, Cesaro could take Jason Knight and with one arm do a better giant swing than this. He did like a revolution and a half. It looked like he was off balance the entire time. It was much better, much worse off for having done this giant swing after the match. So yes, this was a bad...
It was the shittiest fucking giant swing. Like, oh my God, I've been watching Cesaro get this move over, and Luger, you couldn't done a slower... You know, Luger was like one of those people that your kid wants you to spin him, but like you're old, so you spin him like 3 times and you're gonna barf, and the kid's like, more, and you don't want to do it. Luger was like, I got 2 spins in me, or I'm gonna barf. He spins around 2 slowest fucking spins ever. Let's go with the guy.
Are we certain Jason Knight actually left the match?
Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad.
That's the main event. So next week, Raw is preempted for, as they put it, the dog show. They didn't plug it the American Kennel Club or whatever, just the dog show. 2 weeks from tonight, though, there will be a 16-man battle royal, and Brutus Beefcake takes on Ted DiBiase.
So yeah, that's it, everybody. That's the show.
You know, that
tonight.
show was not boring, honestly.
It wasn't boring. I would not call this a horrible show. I would call it a show.
It was a bad show.
Some was bad, but you know what? Some of it was like memorable. Some of it was fun. We got doink. There was nothing offensive about the high energy match. You know, it was fine, right?
It was all right.
I think so.
Yes.
I think it was fine.
Yes.
I classify it that way.
I do have something to plug real quick, Brian.
Well, let's get it done, dude. Because I got actually before you do that, Craig. Because I don't want people to turn off when you start doing a plug. Because we got to get this in.
Oh, Brian.
Listen, no, it's important. It's actually not that important. But if I don't say it now, we're going to forget.
Yeah.
We are doing this Christmas show in the next few days, okay?
Yes.
Because the way that
Hey, brother.
December, we usually don't give the date. I don't even know why. I don't know why it's always a secret when we're going to record.
That's always you.
But anyway, we're going to do it soon. Because the way that December has worked out, this is it. Like, this is the only chance we're going to be able to do it. So, essentially, if you're going to mail a present for the Christmas show, it's got to be in the mail Wednesday, like today, and preferably, you know, at most 2-day delivery.
2-day shipping is a good idea.
Either 2-day or overnight, because this fucking post office now, I mean, if you do 2-day, it's probably going to be late. So I don't need any presents for the Christmas show, but we do open them. Some people like to send gag gifts or whatever. If you want to, get them in the mail Wednesday, or they're not going to be open on the show. So sorry for the late notice. Go ahead, Craig.
Okay, so I was
P.O. Box 426, Woodinville, Washington 98072. Sorry, Craig. That is P.O. Box 426, Woodinville, Washington 98072. Bryan Alvarez, P.O. Box 426, Woodinville, Washington 98072. Now, Craig, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I was doing some cleanup this weekend, just going through my junk, and I noticed I had a whole bunch of I had a whole bunch of wrestling memorabilia and whatnot, and I decided that I don't need this anymore. But as I was going through it, I was putting a pile like, maybe I'd throw some stuff on eBay. Anyway, long story short, I noticed that I got a lot of this stuff Bryan has gifted me over the years. So tomorrow, Wednesday, starting at 6 o'clock our time, there's going to be a few auctions that go up on eBay under my account, and I'm going to split the profits 50-50 with Whale Scout. There's a lot of autographed stuff. There's a big 11 8x10 promo pack that WWE sent Bryan. I picked up Bryan and Dave's media passes from Double or Nothing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I asked you, but you probably don't remember.
I don't.
I put those up there. There's a couple of autographed Fozzy CDs, Daniel Bryan book. Anyway, it's the first of a bunch of auctions that I'm going to put up. So if you go to my eBay sellers page, it's the word alive -for-ever. So alive forever. And that's my seller's name. So if you bid on that stuff, and I would appreciate it, and I'm sure Whale Scout would appreciate it as well.
That's right. Craig's going to get it to me. I'll retweet it at Bryan Alvarez, so you can get up there and check it out on Twitter. And we'll get that auction going, half to Whale Scout, half to Craig. So go grab some of this stuff from the eBay auction. And that is it, everybody. We've got a lot of stuff up today, including Observer Live, hosted by this fucking whale, Oreo the Orca. You can check that out right now. It's up in the archives. And I'll be back with Observer Live tomorrow. Observer Radio with Dave. Back here Thursday, NXT and AEW. And that's it, everybody. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Adios.